Joining us to discuss this is Dr. Oludare Akinlaja. He's the managing partner at OAR&D Company. Doctor, you're welcome onto the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get started, shall we?
Yeah.
Now, this proposed adoption of a new system seems to be garnering support, especially with these two jagnuts in the political or Nigeria's political scene now pledging their support. What do you think would have informed this, or rather their decision?
Well, thank you. The conversation has been ongoing for a very long time. If you see the report that was just given, you can hear what Edwin Clark spoke about, and that's about the conversations of restructuring. Over the years, people have always said that the top is heavy. How do you decentralize power to states? How do you make communities more responsible for their type of governance? We're a multi-ethnic culture, where dozens of tribes and languages. How do you then drive governance from the top, where it is directed at the man that's as a basic community somewhere in Angwandosa and Pateka and Kaduna or somewhere, So how do you take development directly to the people? So these conversations have been going on, and I guess one of the pillars upon which restructuring will be taken is going to be our style of governance. How this unitarian system, where there's one president determining what happens everywhere, top, bottom, is too complex. So I think this is part of the conversations of unbundling our constitution and affecting our governance and how we administrate the resources of our people.
Right. Now, you just said one of the issues, one of the reasons why this is garnering support is basically our multiplicity in terms of our diversity and the tribes and grassroots governance. But isn't that what the local government should be doing? Isn't that what the local government councils are in place for? Isn't that why we have, state House of Assemblies, state law House of Representatives, council chairman, local government chairman? Aren't these people supposed to be bringing dividends of governance, of democracy down to the grassroots?
I have a personal opinion, and the truth is, having a style of governance does not literally mean you will have a perfect system. And that's why you see countries like the United States of America that operates a kind of system. But because they have practiced it for so long, they have tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and found a kind of perfect way where they can really, really implement this. Now, you mentioned Nigerian local government. How many local government chairmen can implement at their own pace? Their funds are gotten sometimes from the state governors. So but in America, you have a state like California existing on its own. For instance, you have a state like California. They tell you maybe probably as the last check, it was the 8th largest economy in the world. That's a state. So America has designed within the framework of a presidential system a tweaked version that works for it. So the way we are structured now as a people, the local government chairmen really don't have any power, I'm sure you remember the last time where there was some problem in Ogun State where chairman had to go and beg and some things, because they don't have their funds. They can't generate funds themselves. They always have to collect. They always have to wait for someone to give them funds. And you know that saying that said, he who pays the money or he who blows the piper will always determine his tune. So that's the challenge with it,
So I'm going to circle back to that in a moment, but let's look at the stats, right? So almost 17% of the House of Representatives are proposing this. It's like 16.6. That's 60 lawmakers out of a House of 360 lawmakers that we have, right? Now, with this pledge from this jagnuts that we've seen, that's the former Governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Osoba, and the leader of Nigeria's Pan-Niger Delta Forum, and that's Edwin Clark. Do you think that more lawmakers will add to this 60 and join forces in this proposal?
Well, what you see now is basically politicking. So some people will start, then you just walk around and try to get support of as many people as possible. If the former governor, Olusegun Osoba, has given a buy-in, what it means is that you're looking at certain segments of the Southwest beginning to buy in. You then have to cross to the south. So it's politicking. It's trying to get the buy-in of more people. So the more people you can get on it, the more people you will get to buy into the system. But the truth is the parliamentary system too has its complexities. So I'm sure as these conversations are going on, questions will need to be answered, because the truth is that this is not the first time we are actually running a parliamentary system.
Right. And I'm glad you said this, that this is not the first time that we're running it. We know that, pre-independence, we did that with the First Republic. It was done, a coup happened, and then it changed completely, right, to what we now have now. It is metamorphosed over time. And earlier, I said I was going to circle back to this. And you said you compared Nigeria's democracy system to that of the U.S., but the U.S. have had years to tweak their system. Why can't we follow that footstep in tweaking, years, our own democratic system that fits us as Nigeria? Because we have our peculiarities. But why not do that instead and focus on a parliamentarian system of government? Why a parliamentarian system?
Well, thank you very much. I'm a researcher, so I'll agree with you. I believe in process. I believe in iteration. I believe in looking at the whole system. You're researching. You're trying to remove certain, conversations. So that's my belief. But I think because of the pressure of where we currently find ourselves as a people, the insecurity level, the economic challenges. So people are probably getting apprehensive and saying it doesn't look as if there's progress in sight. Why don't we just come heavy with the hammer on the system and just unbundle it at full speed? For me, I think we study our system, we iterate, and we begin to look at what benefits or what works for us, give some level of independence to states, to local governments, to councils. I think if we try that and we begin to build consistently and progressively, we'll see how it works. Like you just said, America has had over 100 or 150, close to 200 years of trying what works for it. And they have come up with this system that works for it. And even with this system, you still keep hearing them saying amendments. They keep changing how they vote. They keep changing how they, So I think we need to keep, and which is why I like that Edwin Clark mentioned the Sovereign National Conference that took place under the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. I think that document was expressly looked at and done. And we should go back to that document and really begin to look at parts of that document that we can begin to implement.
Dr. Oludare Akinlaja, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.